Hey guys, so in the last video we talked about database migrations, and really we can create migrations and we can do anything to change the way our tables and our database looks like. So if you go to the documentation, here's just a bunch of things that you can do with migrations, and it's really good to utilize what is on the internet before you try to do something, or if you don't know how to do something. So for example, if you want to add an extra column to existing table, then you could use something like add column. And in this example, what they have here, add part number to products, that pretty much means that they want to add a new column to to the table products that is called part number, and this part number would be a string. And if you want to remove the column, it's the same thing. Just remind you that there is a rule of thumb of naming the migration. So for example here it says add part number to products. That's how they want you to add a part number. But in today's video, we're not going to go through that because you could just look through the documentation for that. Really, what we want to do in today's video is add some existing data or add some starting data to our, our table. So let's just open up our migrations file, and you can see that right here we have a bunch of create tables, pretty much what we did in the last video. I should have gave you guys an exercise, but you guys probably wouldn't do it. But here I made some tables of everything that is included in the schema that I showed you, minus or plus some things that don't exist in the schema, because this is the end result of what you will have by the end of this series of videos. So let's go ahead and add some data. So what we want to do is we want to create some migrations to help us do that. So we'll do a Rails generate migration, and we need some country and state data. So we'll do add countries, regions, and this will pretty much generate a table for us that we could use to add in our country and region data. So for example, if you live in the United States, you have your country, United States of America, and all the states which is represented by the regions. If you're in Canada, then Canada, and all your provinces represented in the regions, and so on and so forth for every other kind of country. So I'm just gonna copy and paste from another file. This is what you do. It's literally just an option to create. So you can see here that we're using type region, which is a model that we defined in one of our previous videos. Type region here. This is the class that we're using. And we're using that to create, for example, a region that's called Farah, and its time zone is in Asia, Kabul. And the same thing for countries. What we could do is we could do a type country, which is a class that we defined, and that file is just right here. And we could enter all the attributes that this country should have. And really, that's what we created in our previous migration file. So if you look at type regions, let's look at type regions because it's less busy. So if you look at type regions, you can see that there's two attributes, name and time zone, and that's what we created. We created a region with name and time zone, and it also belongs to type country, and you have this type country ID to signify which country it belongs to. So that's how we pretty much add new data to a table if you want to start off with some data in our database in the first place. If we want to create another table for adding data, we could, let's say we want to generate some data for type positions. So let's say we generate migration for add type positions. And for example, you can have many positions: CEO, director, regional manager, general manager, employee. Those are kind of positions that we want to add. So let's see, let's just create 5 positions here. So we could define a function called up and a function called down. A function called down is kind of like a rollback, so when you make a mistake, you would call function down. But if you want to go forward and make something new, make a new migration, make some new changes, then you would do up. So in this case, we want to do type position create, let's say you want something called the Chief of Operations. And what we're going to do is we're just going to copy and paste this several times and just going to replace this guy's name with something like director and regional manager, if I can spell right, and let's say store manager and employee. So in this way we're going to start off with some data right off the bat when we create our tables. So that's all I really want to go through in this video. Don't forget to run rake db migrate to migrate your database because you have made some changes. So every time you add a new migration file, you have to run rake db migrate or else it'll give you some weird errors. So if I go to localhost 3000, then they can say it'll tell you that migrations are pending to resolve the issue. Run rake db migrate. So you would run that migration on your console, and that will fix that error. But anyways, that's all I want to go through in this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe if you've learned something. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.